my dad was one of those guys that he tried everything. We had animals, we had crops, he bred shepherds, he had aquarium fish. Okay, so one of his things was, I might not always look good, but I'm always going to smell good. And he was known, it was common for him to get compliments on his fragrances. And that little phrase just kind of stuck with me.
My success, it ain't random. Float on the scene like a phantom. You and I should be on one accord. Together one hell of a tandem. I done cut ties to take it this high. The top is my spot, no questioning why.
That's my next book, by the way.
What?
Yeah, you're talking about that, the subtle art. Yeah, that's my next book.
Man.
I'm always reading something.
Dang, man.
Always reading something.
Hey, and now that you said that, I'm going pull for something. Cause okay, we talked a bit.
Yeah.
But the point of the podcast is, you guys are rolling?
Yes, sir. I'm doing
Okay, cool.
I'm doing pre-roll. So
Oh, it's cool. Yeah. That's all good. I'm gonna bring it in to the like I'm gonna do an introduction or whatever, and then we're gonna really get into it. But all of this stuff, I might use this as clips and stuff too. But the point of the podcast, honestly, like I told you, was just me trying to step away from being talking about ideas and actually going for them. So, you know, my little girl, she's way more observant now. This entire trip, I've gotten multiple calls, FaceTimes from my wife saying, Trini, want to talk to you. It's like, my daddy, why aren't you in the bed with us? Or my daddy, why aren't you, when you coming back? And then hearing my wife say, Daddy's working. I tell y'all. Oh yeah. Well, I'm on vibrate.
Vibrate can be on top of something.
Yeah. Man, that's a good.
You're right. You're right. Airplane mode.
I can tell you, I've been on lives before.
You gotten calls?
And my phone rings like the device that I'm going live with. You know what I mean?
No.
So yeah, that can happen. So yeah, thanks to the
man. So I was afraid of that. I was on live with a friend of mine. She has 60,000 followers. She's a writer. Good friend of mine. We travel together and stuff. And my kid comes in the room. I got a ring light. I don't know what I'm doing. Why the ring light falls in the middle of the recording? Wow. Oh man, I was like, yo, I tried to catch it, but there's no subtle way to do that.
Yeah.
I just owned it. I was like, hey guys, this is real life.
Yeah, and sometimes those imperfections, they actually make things more authentic. People tend to connect with those things better than perfectly edited stuff. So, no, it's all good.
Bet. Okay. So, but yeah, man, I agree with you on the blessings thing, 100%. Like, you just taking that step out. That's a whole testament to what you have going on, and we gotta get into it.
Let's do it.
We gotta get into it. How you doing, guys? We're back. Success Ain't Random Podcast, and I'm your host, Vino J. Man, the guy who I have sitting here with me, fragrance royalty. Okay, this room, like y'all can't experience this, but this room smells great right now. Man, I gotta say I've been following him for a while. Great guy, vet, right?
Navy vet,
vet, RN. You feel me? Really making a splash in the fragrance community and bringing us some gems that, I'll be honest with you, I have not yet tried a good bit, but we're gonna get into all that. My guy, MrCologne76 himself, Mr. Glenn Davis. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Good to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's a real pleasure, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Hey, man.
But I'm not going to take all the credit
for
the smell that's coming in here, because when we met, I picked up on your scent. So what are you wearing today?
Hey man, shout out to Chris Classic.
Oh, my guy.
Soul Cafe.
Yes.
Man, and Chris, I don't know if Chris will see this, but
he will. I will make sure he does.
Hey, with honor, incredible. I like just forget about the fact that it's just black owned.
Yeah.
But just watching the story, like really going and pushing into that craft. Like I when I smelled it, it was quality. So I came out here with it. I'm always trying to put people onto it.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I was like, it's only right.
Yeah.
It's only right.
I didn't even know that's what you were wearing. I just noticed that it was something that had some quality.
Yeah.
So I was eventually going to ask, but I didn't even know. So shout out to Mr. Chris Classic.
Yes.
We're actually working on something that's going to happen here in Dallas sometime in the future. We just spoke on it this week. So
man,
this is kind of how the universe works.
Please let me know.
For sure.
Oh man,
For sure.
y'all. This is what I'm talking about, man.
For sure.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Chris, we'll give you flowers, but we gotta. This is about you. This is about you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So obviously, MrCologne76, huge presence. Huge presence. Really dope page. I mean, the collection is crazy, and I can't just breeze over this because I gotta ask you as well. What you got on? Because I'm gonna get a decant. I probably can't afford a full bottle.
Yeah. So today I went a little adventurous. So I'm wearing 3 different fragrances really quickly. I'm wearing Francesca Bianchi's Sex and the Sea.
Oh.
I'm wearing Anka Cuss Jezebel and Parfums de Marly, the Lena exclusive. So I went with 3 different fragrances because sometimes I like to put on a scent that nobody else is gonna be able to replicate.
It's fire.
You gotta go through a little bit of effort to be able to replicate this.
Yes.
So I went a little crazy, and I got a little lost getting here. But 2 people on the way, one guy came back and was like, "Hey man, nice cologne."
Yeah.
So
yeah, man,
it is what it is.
I was y'all, it smacked me. I was like, yo, what is that? I didn't, and of course, you're trying to be professional.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to bug out too crazy. But I was like, I gotta ask him off camera. I gotta ask him. But nah. Okay. So eventually I want to get into the Instagram and just the presence you built, but I want to start from the beginning. I like to bring it all the way back. Okay. So let's before MrCologne76, tell me about Mr. Glenn Davis. Tell me about what started this journey for you, just in the fragrance space.
Yeah. Shout out to my dad, who's no longer with us.
Oh man, rest in peace.
I lost Dad 2 years ago, but it was he that brought me into the fragrance appreciation game, so to speak. And just a little backstory. I grew up in Trinidad.
Oh, nice.
Grew up in a little island, in a country part of the island. So I was a country boy in a little country.
Hey, I can relate.
All right.
I can relate. Louisiana.
Yeah.
Not an island, but general Louisiana. Like literally played in sugarcane fields.
Right.
So, yeah.
I did some of that. So my parents were nurses, but my dad was one of those guys that he tried everything. We had animals, we had crops, he bred shepherds, he had aquarium fish. Okay. So one of his things was, I might not always look good, but I'm always gonna smell good. And he was known, it was common for him to get compliments on his fragrances. And that little phrase just kind of stuck with me. Now, there are a lot of things that my dad said that stuck with me. But in terms of fragrances, that was the one. So he always had a collection. And by the time I was 6 or 7, I was sneaking and spray that stuff. But outside of all of that, I connected with the world from an olfactory sense. I was always aware of how things smelled. Stuff on the farm, the smell by the beach, the smell of alcohol, the smell of a brand new shower curtain, the smell of going back to like probably 1986 when we got our first VCR. What? And you get that styrofoam. Yeah. The styrofoam in a cardboard box has a smell.
It does.
All right. Taking it a little bit further back, got my first Walkman. I'm talking like the foam, air headphones, and that electronic had a smell. Yeah. So I was always aware of what things smelled like. That was just kind of my thing. So by the time we relocated to the States. We moved to New York. You know, I take my little change and I went onto Jamaica Avenue.
Yeah.
And they sold it 3 for $10.
The oils?
No, the bootleg.
Oh.
Okay.
yeah, I got
3
you.
for $10. This is 1990.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not gonna last.
No.
They're not gonna last. But that was all I could afford at the time.
That first punch, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You out here.
fly.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I got a little job, and it was in a supermarket, and they had a cosmetic section.
Oh man.
So I befriended the people that worked in that section, and they would sell damaged goods for less.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, your boy would get a hookup, and from the time I was 17, I started collecting.
That was it. I can relate. My mom and my dad, they were really big on you got to be presentable. And my dad, a lot of people would say that my dad was like, oh, he had to have the nice shirt. He had to, and growing up, I remember going to church. And I'm a kid, I'm 7, 8, 6, stuff like that. But it was Stetson.
I know it.
Mesmerize.
No, Mesmerize is Avon, right?
Avon.
Yeah,
Avon.
my dad used to sell Avon for a little hot minute.
Oh, dang, bro.
Yeah. My dad, so, you know, it was my dad and myself, my brother. My youngest brother probably wasn't into smell goods then. So just in our household, you had 3 consumers.
Yeah.
Again, I told you my dad was always enterprising.
Mm-hmm.
So this is New York days now.
Oh,
He
yeah.
started selling Avon. I was
Facts.
one of his best customers. You know what I mean? So
You giving dad all the checks?
Yeah, man. Mesmerize. Yeah, that's a good one. So what else were you was rocking?
Definitely Cool Water. Obviously, you can't get into this and not have had Cool Water.
Yeah, facts.
Little fun facts for everybody watching. Y'all might have not known this. People that know me know this. Cologne has been like a thing. Because like I said, as a boy, it was one of them things that I had to have, even if I didn't want to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you're a kid, you don't care about that, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely remember smelling I was smelling my dad, and I think he had like what it was, Polo, some Polo fragrance, Polo Blue. Was it blue?
Okay. Was it a blue bottle? Because you know there's a classic green bottle.
Yeah. Okay, so he had the classic green.
Yeah.
And it was definitely the blue bottle. I remember the blue bottle.
Yeah.
I just don't remember.
Decent.
I don't remember smelling the green. That was the only thing. But it just blew my mind away. And as a little boy, I felt that too. Whenever you give people hugs, like, oh hey, how you? Oh, you smell so good. It's like, wait.
Sure.
What? Okay, I like this.
Yeah.
Going to school, and I mean, it was the 2000s. They had Axe, Dark Temptation Axe, right? So everybody remembers all that, man. But that was how it started for me. Fell off a bit, but when I definitely hit my 20s is when I was like, I got to get back on this. I'm in college now.
Right. Step the game back up.
I had to. But it wasn't, that's not when I discovered niche. I discovered niche probably in the past 3 years, I would say. 3 or 4 years. So what I want to know is, taken from, we coming from Avon days.
Yeah, Avon 3 for $10 on Jamaica Avenue. All right.
How did we get to? Because you're at the pinnacle now, man. Like you're talking about some exclusive stuff. Off camera. You were telling me about an event you got to go to actually today.
Yeah.
My designer.
Yeah.
Like how do we get here?
That's a good question. So you know, I'm 17. I'm buying the Avon from my dad. I'm buying stuff at the supermarket.
Yeah.
You know, I got a decent little collection, 3 or 4 bottles. By the time I was 22, I joined the Navy.
Oh, okay.
So now, you know, got a little bit more money.
Yeah, your pocket.
I'm a young sailor, don't have a lot of bills. So every paycheck, I'm buying a perfume. I'm on the store on base. It's tax-free. So, you know, I'm building a collection. So pretty much I spent 10 years in the Navy. My entire time in the Navy, I'm rocking about 50 bottles. That's just kind of, and I'm going through them.
Wait, 50 bottles?
At a time. Like, you know, my collection. Right? Nah, that's just how it was. Like, so what happened too was, in my little group of friends, I was the guy. If we were going out, you know, you figure I'm 23 years old, I'm parlaying.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming to my room to get a drink and to get scented. And I'm like, all right, you rocking that? You know, I'm going to give you this pie. This person you rocking that, I'm gonna give you Angel for Men. So I knew how to pick the appropriate scent for the occasion and the season. So I get out the Navy, no longer could get that tax-free on base. And, you know, like I built relationships with the people in the store on base, so they would keep me updated. Hey, we got a new one coming out. In fact, I had a brief stint in Hawaii where I worked part-time in the fragrance department on base because it afforded me the opportunity to smell different fragrances and just meet people and just kind of really share my passion. I didn't have to do it. I didn't need the money, but it was one of the most fulfilling side hustles I've ever had.
That's interesting. I don't wanna pass it up. For everybody out here listening, notice your passion showed up, and I would argue purpose to a degree showed up super early, right? And y'all might not. I don't know if y'all see this on camera. You glowing like you glowing talking to me about this. Right?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
It's imperative that you open, like you have that awareness to open up and realize when you are walking in your purpose, because for you were just happy to share that passion, that love with other people. We can relate in the sense 100%. Of like when it comes to fragrance in my group, in my friends, I got my guy Chris right here on the camera in the background. He would know. I would have at least like 4 or 5, maybe 6 bottles. He's saying 10. He's saying 10 bottles, and it would be like, "Yo, like what you got on?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm wearing this." Well, you can't wear what I'm wearing,
right?
But hey, matter of fact, you get this one or get that one. We did it while we're out here. But so it's cool to connect with people that share that love. So I don't want y'all to breeze past that, man. If you ever are wondering what your purpose is going to probably align close with what you're super passionate about. If you could do it for free, you should definitely take a look to that. But I didn't want to breeze past.
No, that's I really hadn't considered that. I really hadn't considered that I was doing what I'm doing now before social media even existed. Yeah, because guys would come to my barracks room and be like, "Hey, what should I put on?" And if we were rolling out, I would do a sniff check, like, "Hey, man, you ain't got no fragrance. Let me go in the stash and hit you off right quick." So I was doing that before I didn't even realize. I was teaching people about the fragrance pyramid and notes and stuff like that. So I get out the Navy. It's 2007, and no longer had the store on base. So I'm like, how am I gonna know what's being worn? How am I going to keep up? So, I got on YouTube. I was like, I'm sure there's somebody with a list. So I get on YouTube and I start hearing these fragrance names that I hadn't heard of. So I'm like, wait a minute. There's a problem because for the longest time I was the fragrance person in my circle. And here it is, I'm hearing these brands I had not even heard of. Well, somebody let it slip that there was a Facebook group that you could buy decants.
Do you remember the group?
I don't even remember. This 2007.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember the group. I get into the group and I start communicating with people. I start buying samples, buying decants. And this lady had noticed I had a particular taste in perfume. And she said, Glenn, I noticed that you always talk about certain fragrances. I want to send you some samples. So I get this package. And 2 things happen.
Yes.
One, I decided that I was going to probably part ways with designer fragrances. Not because I felt they weren't as good, but just because I wanted to smell different than what mainstream was wearing. So that was the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened was she sent these fragrances and I started loving them and not really looking them up to see who they were made for and what was in them. And when I finally got around to looking these fragrances up, I realized that the whole notion of gender and fragrance was irrelevant.
Doesn't matter.
So
very androgynous.
Yeah. So 2007, I pretty much put aside the whole concept that you should buy fragrance just made for one gender.
Yeah, man. I think I don't remember the fragrance. I remember the house. It was a cologne house. Our mouth. I think it was, and it was like I ran across that just like watching reviews on YouTube, and they definitely talked about a particular fragrance. I don't remember the name of the fragrance, but it was catered to women, but it smelled like it was supposed to smell like a niche, more masculine scent. And I was like, wait, what? Like that is a like wait, I'm wearing perfume? Right. Bro, no. Until I smelled it, and I was like, yo, this is dope. Okay, now I don't want to. A few things you said, I gotta ask. Your collection was at 50 bottles in the Navy.
Yeah.
And you said you got rid of all your. How many bottles did you get rid of?
So at that point, this is. At that point, I had a house. Like as I'm discovering niche, I'm still buying designer. It wasn't like one day I just boom, I'm cutting off designer. But as I'm dabbling into niche, I'm still buying designer. I would go to go to Ross, go to Macy's, go to TJ Maxx, whatever, and I'm still buying all these designer fragrances. So by the time I decided like, yo, it's time to make a change, I realized that I wasn't reaching for my designer fragrances. I was reaching more for my niche fragrances. I literally packed up my fragrances in Walmart bags and gave it to my dad and my brother.
Oh, okay.
I held on to like about 20 of them. There's some fragrances that will always be in my collection.
Yeah.
And I started buying a lot of niche perfumes. And that was kind of the birth of me transitioning into niche perfume.
Okay. Man. Like, do you remember the house? Was there a particular house that you were like, yo, like, okay, I gotta really dive into this niche bag?
Yeah. Perhaps the most pivotal was a fragrance called L'air du Désert Marocain. It's
Say it again?
L'air du Désert Marocain. It's known as LDDM in the fragrance community.
LDDM. We go keep it
That
at LDDM.
fragrance did something to me. Okay, it's still to this day my favorite niche perfume. Is it my best perfume? No, but the way it makes me feel and what it represented in my fragrance journey, it can't really be replaced. So you had stuff like Interlude Man.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Portrait of a Lady. Right? Fragrances like those were some of the fragrances that I started trying out, and I was like, yo, there's a whole different world of olfactory journeys, so to speak.
Man, okay. All right. So now at this point, we're full on in niche mode.
Full on.
Where does the Instagram come to play? Like, did you set out saying, okay, well, I'm gonna create an Instagram solely about fragrances, blah 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 blah.
So,
this man has built up a pretty big audience here, and it's like it's crazy. I've to see his collection, y'all, it's nuts. Like, I don't want to put a number. But how many bottles do you think you have?
I haven't counted my bottles since 2015, and the only reason why I counted in 2015 was I was a travel nurse for 2 years, and I took all my fragrances with me.
Everywhere you went?
Yeah, I had to. Like, there was no, you're living in another place. It's not a weekend vacation. So my fragrances went with me. That was the bulk of what I packed in my car to drive to California. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I got on Instagram reluctantly. Reluctantly. I was kind of, so what happened was I'm in the Facebook groups, I'm buying fragrances, but I found the environment on Facebook a little toxic.
It can be.
And I started pulling away from the conversation, and really Facebook then became commerce. What can I buy? I'm keeping my eyes, I got my list of fragrances that I want, and I'm keeping my eye on items being sold. One of my boys, shout out to my boy Eric, cat that I met in the military, he was like, dude, you gotta get on Instagram. Everybody's on Instagram. And I'm like, man, I'm done with social media. I'm good. Like Facebook, I'm good. So he kept chipping away, so I created an account, and I'm posting my dog, my food. I love to cook.
Like everybody else.
Selfies. I used to make these bracelets. This bracelet right here, this is my work. Yeah. And I'm posting this online, but a large part of what I'm posting online is my fragrances. So I started kind of developing a following without really trying. It was just people were following my page. And one of my friends, a sister out of Seattle, she's originally from Trinidad. We go way back. One day we had a conversation and she was like, Glenn, you got a lot of followers on Instagram, but you're not really connecting with your audience. So,
do you remember how many followers you had at the time?
It was under 2,000.
Okay.
So, you know, for a person that's not really trying, not really, and it was definitely under 2,000. It could have even been under 1,000. But for most people, you have 1,000 followers on Instagram. It's a lot for most you know, casual social media people.
Yeah.
So I'm the kind of person when I want to know something, I get deep and I start doing research and I start reading. So she was like, "You're not connecting with your audience. I want to know what does it really mean? like you know, what
you doing?
What does she mean by to connect with your audience?" So I started digging, and I came across Gary Vaynerchuk. Shout out to Gary V.
Shout out Gary V.
I don't know if he will ever see this, but you know,
I hope.
he is probably the reason why MrCologne76 is a thing. I got his book, Crushing It.
Good book.
And it lit a fire. It lit a fire. Fast forward, so we're talking now 2017 when I had that conversation with her. So we're 5 years down the road, and MrCologne76 is a community. I've gone from just being a personal space to it being a community, and things like this is happening.
Man, yeah, man. Like, I don't even know how I first came across your page. I really don't remember. I think it was on my Explore page.
Wow.
Like just on the random. I couldn't tell you what because I mean, you know how the algorithm works.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is you're like liking.
Yeah.
They're gonna suggest stuff on that page, and when I saw it, I was like, yo, it was one. I forgot what picture it was, but I think all I saw was banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. Is that Zherzhov? Banger. I'm like, yo, who is this? And then I clicked it, and I mean, I was like, oh, okay. And I just slowly went down the rabbit hole of the content. And it's wild to say that you weren't trying at first. You was just, this is my life.
Yeah.
When you dug deep into figuring out, okay, I'm not connecting, but people are liking this. What did you find? Was it like, hey, I'm not really trying to connect, but let me be more open. How can I better serve the community that I'm developing?
Well, a couple of things happened. That book lit a fire, not just to connect with my community, but it really reinforced the idea of knowledge, the right knowledge being power. Right? So 2017, I'm always reading a book. I'm always in the middle of a book since I've always been a casual reader, and I had on and off periods, but a lot of my reading back then was, you know, shoot 'em up, you know, special op, you know, war books, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm always reading a book on a process or a thing. So that has really transformed the way I operate, the way I view people, the way I, you know, just my being. So one of the biggest mind shifts for me was operate in a space of giving. What was happening on social media was you had your kingpins that was all doing their thing, right?
Big fish.
And everybody was like trying to get their, you know, success, right?
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that, look, success is an unlimited commodity. If you get a whole handful of success, it's not going to take away from me getting mine. So I can help you and still be able to do my thing.
Yeah.
So I started having these conversations. I started really uplifting people in my little circle. And that was really the birth of the MrCologne76 community. It's like, hey, you could shout out other people. It's not going to take away your shine.
Man, you know what? I needed to hear that. when it comes down to doing this, I don't ever look at it as taking away from someone else, but the idea of collaborating
100%.
Is it's not valued nearly as much as it should be, right? Because I know for myself, even trying to set this up, like when I reached out and you got back to me, it was like, okay, like what is the podcast about? Like what's your in a sense you pretty much asked me like what am I giving? Like what am I trying to offer to the audience? And I'm not gonna lie, when you said, okay, yeah, I'm out, let's do it, I was like, man, I freaked out. Chris knows. I literally hit him up. I was like, dude, look at, oh my God, look at that. But this being self-conscious to do that is, I think, my biggest hang-up. This entire weekend has been an eye-opener.
Yeah.
And to like hear you like mention that now, it's like confirmation. I don't believe anything is by chance. You know what I'm saying? We all have a divine path to walk. So we said it earlier, like just opening yourself up to networking, blessings come along with that.
Yep.
And then he's giving me advice like off camera, like just video chat.
Yeah.
And y'all, like, major game changer. What I want to know is, you talked about reading. I'm bad at that. Terrible.
Audiobooks.
What I'm doing now? I've gotten into look, the guys in the back.
Audiobooks.
The guys in the background. I was like, yep. What are you reading right now?
Right now I'm reading a book called Never Eat Alone. It's already taught me a few things.
Okay. Can I ask for a brief little summary?
Sure. The book is essentially teaching you about the value of networking, how to build, how to connect, and how to nurture your network.
Yeah.
All right. So it's already paid for itself.
Yeah.
In the things I've gleaned, and I still got about 6 hours left in the book.
I gotta get it.
All right. My next book is going to be The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Yeah.
Because somewhere in that book, I think it referenced another book, and when I was researching that book came up. Actually, no. It's one of my fragrance sisters, Marcy Mello. She posted a picture of that book. It had been on my radar, and I was like, you know what? Click. I'm buying it. So, yeah, that's what I'm reading right now.
That's confirmation. I've seen that book. I've heard good things about it. I haven't clicked. Have you heard of Atomic Habits?
Already read it.
Okay, I've seen this book at least 5 or 6 times, just out here.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the timeline, I'm in the store. I've seen that, and I'm weird that way. I feel like God, like he'll tap you, he'll tap you on the shoulder subtly, like, hey, look, look.
Yeah.
And I linked up with Dre, and we were talking, and he was like, yeah, man, Tommy Habits. I was like, okay, I probably need to get this book. So now, when you said you were a reader, I had to ask.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely getting that as soon as this is over with.
Yep.
I think Chris might be already on it. Like, Chris was on his phone, like looking up some stuff. But okay, what would you say, just after going through the entire process, falling in alignment with this passion, you built this community. Out of that, I guess you would say that transition. You know, to like saying, okay, like we're now, instead of just posting, we are at service now with everybody. What would you say was the biggest pivot?
That's a good question.
From it being, hey man, it's my hobby, to now it's my hobby, but it has a purpose for people.
So let me see if I understand the question. I want to, because I feel like there are 2 parts to the answer.
There definitely are 2 parts.
There's the first, the transition from, okay, I'm just going to put pictures on Instagram to I'm going to create content.
Exactly.
That was my guy, Gary Vee.
Okay.
Right? Creating value. See, a lot of people, they join the community, they see what's working for one person, and they start trying to emulate.
Yeah, you try to duplicate it.
But what they're missing is this thing called brand voice. That's another book that I read, The Millionaire Messenger.
Get that one.
All right. Just because it's working for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? You have to figure out who your audience is and create content that's authentic to your audience. So Gary Vee was that pivotal pivotal point. And then in terms of where it transitioned from being a personal page to a community, that wasn't an overnight thing. But about 2 years ago, it just became apparent that this is no longer a solo entity. This is a community. And that was because, I'll tell you what it was. When my father passed away, all right, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. All right. And I'm not gonna cry.
It's a safe space, man.
But
I promise.
my community, they came together. They came together and they made that ride 10 times easier.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still touched by the outpour of love and support that I received in that moment. So that was 2020. That same year, I ended up getting COVID and ended up in the hospital.
Man.
Okay. To this day, I made a post from the hospital, just a selfie in the hospital bed, and it's one of my most commented on pieces of content. So that's when I realized that this is not really about Glenn anymore. This is about the community. And those two things were probably the biggest pivotal points to answer your question.
Man, wow. I'm kind of like, I'm at a loss. I'm honestly at a loss. Okay. I gotta reset, cause I ain't gonna lie. You said you wasn't gonna cry, but I was like, yo, it's a lot. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
You were providing a service. I mean, just by speaking about a passion and everything like that, and they started riding for you.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's wild how that ended up playing out that way, cause you didn't foresee that.
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't. I knew I was doing the work, but you're not guaranteed, or you're not owed success. It happens, but it's not guaranteed. So I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that my dad was going to pass.
Obviously,
I didn't know I was going to get COVID. I didn't know I was going to end up in the hospital. But when they bonded to support, uplift, and carry me through those moments, that's when I was like, all right, this is not just about me anymore. This is a community.
Man, okay. Like I'm at a loss real quick. I'm trying to get my thoughts together, because I did not see that. I honestly didn't. What I will say is, it is important to go at things genuinely.
100%.
Because I feel like that was the thing that resonated with everybody. Because I mean, everybody has struggles. Everybody has things that they go through. But your community is pure, because they realize, hey man, no, this is a real person. Yeah, of course, we love the fragrance, we love the things that he's posting and all that. Great suggestions, awesome list. But at the same time, man, nah, this isn't just Mrs. Glenn, this is Glenn.
Yeah.
And they connected with you over that time, getting to know you.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, it started off as a personal page, so they saw other elements of your life.
Right.
The fragrance thing is just one of those bonds, one of those big bonds that we all share, right?
Correct.
So yeah, that's extremely dope, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the topic, but I gotta say, I want to say this. Nothing is by chance. Nothing is by chance. Everything serves a purpose. Everything that we do, everything that we come in contact with, it serves a purpose. And I just want to give you some encouragement. A long time ago, it's kind of off subject, I prayed for like the spirit of discernment, and I've actively seen it just in my life, just growing up. I want to tell you, even though you didn't foresee what happening, God knew that. I mean, this is like cameras aside. Like this is just like I'm talking to you directly. Yeah, it was all in preparation for those moments.
I truly believe that everything you do gets you ready for your next step.
Shoot, man. I tell you, bro, I haven't. This is my first time getting like this. My first time getting like this.
It's all good, man. It's all good. That's truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, you know, I wanna say, I feel like when that happened and you shook back, you went 10 times harder.
Yes and no.
Yes and no?
Yes, I went 10 times harder, but that's also because of the reading that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Again, but still, that's all a part of it, though.
Yeah.
Like it fell in alignment with how I was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
I started this. Mm-hmm. Man, my first few videos, I recorded them. I think I edited on iMovie. I didn't know what I was doing. I even mentioned to the camera, I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But what I do remember is that first video, talking head video I recorded, presenting it and just laying it all out on the table. Like, hey, I'm a talker. I come up with 100 ideas. 50 of them might work. I might try 5, and those 5 I will attempt at 30%. And I thought that was okay. And like, I had my daughter. She's 3, going on 4. She acting like she's 22.
Shout out to the little lady.
Shout out to you, Trini. Daddy loves you. And I believe in speaking over our kids. And I would tell her every chance I get, no matter what you want to do, just chase it relentlessly and don't compromise.
Yep.
The thing where I feel like I was dropping the ball is I wasn't walking in that, but I was saying it. So this is all from that. Now, everybody, going back to what we were talking about earlier, we all have a moment, that pivotal moment where you say, hey, look, this is for you. This is what I have for you, but you got to walk into it.
Yeah.
You got to walk to it.
Yeah.
God ain't like Amazon, man. He ain't gonna drop it in front of your door. You got to walk to the mailbox.
Yeah.
But through that walk, there's going to be trials that's going to force you to grow.
100%.
Now, I don't know. I'm not going to throw that at you. I don't want to say, oh, you needed to grow, nothing like that. But for whatever reason, those steps needed to be taken to get where you are now. And I think the blessings you're about to receive, I'm going to speak this because hopefully we connect out.
Go ahead and speak it into existence. You know what I mean?
The blessings you're about to receive, man, I words can't put them together. Like, seriously.
I sure hope so, brother.
Yeah, man. For sure. Hey, man.
I sure hope so. You know, I always say that. You know, I want to be the Oprah Winfrey of perfume.
Hey, let's go.
That's what I want to do, and you know, this is all part of that journey. Mm-hmm. You know,
heck yeah.
You're reaching out, me being a part of your podcast.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I love doing.
Heck yeah, man. And like, that's all we try to push is that success ain't random. You know what I'm saying? There's
not at all.
There's steps to it. There's growing pains, and we all got to go through it. So, okay, y'all, we had a real deep moment, a super deep moment. But what I want to know is, like, man, what do we have going on right now? What can we expect from MrCologne76? I know off camera, I don't know if I can talk about it.
Oh no, we can talk about it. You know, I'm very open with my community, and I've had some conversations with a few people within my community that I consider MrCologne76 champions. Mm-hmm. And what I want to do is I want to really start putting people in positions to do things as a community.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of any community that exists, all right, be it the vegan community, the Labradoodle community, you know, the Jewish community. Yeah. There are key people within those different entities.
Definitely.
And like, for example, I want to do things like, you know, follower recognition. Mm-hmm. All right. I want to do meetup events. So I want to really start being more coordinated with those activities to really take the community feel to another level.
Yeah.
I want to start getting some merchandise out. Not because I feel it's a get-rich scheme, but because every sport team has a uniform.
You got a jersey.
Every sport team has a uniform.
Yeah.
All right. Every religion has a identifier. Mm-hmm. Okay. every car has an emblem. The MrCologne76 community needs something, and it's time to start getting that out and not being, shy or hesitant, being bold and going after it.
Man.
So that's what's coming.
I'm here for it. I need a hoodie.
It's coming.
I need a hoodie or a hat or something. You know what I'm saying? Any thoughts of a fragrance? Like any thought? You ever thought about coming out with your own fragrance?
It's been in the back of my mind. I already know what those fragrances are going to smell like. I already know what the aesthetic of that collection is going to be. It's not what I want to do first.
Okay, all right, that's fair
points.
Not what I want to do first. Hey man, if you need a guinea pig, I'm here.
All right,
I'm here. Look, hey, I'm dead serious,
all
man.
Right.
Y'all, if it's any idea, because I can only imagine it's gonna be dope. For real. So, just thinking about how you came in smelling today, I'm like, yo, he needs to come out with his own.
Yes, sir. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
But well, man, I know we were talking. You said you have an event to go to after this.
Yep, I'm going to the Scent Room in Dallas. My fragrance sister, Fumi Monet, is launching her own brand.
Okay.
This is a sister she's also a fragrance blogger, fragrance reviewer, and she's releasing a perfume brand. So I'm going to go out and show some support to my sister. Okay, man, I'm gonna have to tap in with her too. Like that's come on through, man. Hey, man, we might have to make an appearance. Okay. Well, look, I won't take up too much of your time. I appreciate it, like 100%. Like same here, man.
It's y'all. I'm a little. I ain't gonna say starstruck, but it's just like it's an honor, honestly. And I just thank you for like having that moment of time for my community and just sharing that story with us, bro. Because I'm a firm believer that who's ever meant to hear it, they're gonna hear it, and it's gonna help them along their journey. And that's all we here to do, man. Is just give value, make impact. Yep. And along those lines, I'm also thankful. I tell people I'm a regular person. I'm a regular guy that loves perfume. I've just been blessed to connect with others that love perfume. I love what you're doing. Oh man! I consider it an honor to be a part of this. And one day when you're taking this to the television, I'll be like, man, I was on his show when he was doing it in the studio. You playing? I'm sitting here thinking, hey, I got a piece of history. So, I got Oprah Winfrey fragrance on my pod, man. Let's go. Let's go. Well, Glenn, look, just let the people know where they can find you. You know what I'm saying? How they can tap in with you. Thank you. You can find me primarily on Instagram. It's MrCologne76, MrCologne76. I'm also on YouTube. I also have the same website, MrCologne76.com. If you love perfume, if you're interested in learning more about perfume, you definitely want to tap in, connect with my community, have fun, and smell fragrant. Man, and that's what it is, man. Hey guys, success ain't random, man. We keeping this thing rolling. Your man, Vnell J, and we just knocking them out. I'm bringing y'all something that I am extremely passionate about. Anyone that met me in person, I don't feel comfortable unless I have a fragrance on, man. As you should. So before I wrap it up, I always end with this. I like to ask my guests this. Let's say you wake up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, you're getting ready, and you look in the mirror, and you see a young Glenn. I'm talking about still in Trinidad, you doing your thing. What 3 gems would you give? That's a good one. I would tell Glenn to connect with every person that you meet on a deeper level. All right, get to know what drives them and see how you can help them. Yes. I would tell him, don't cut people off. Don't take people out your circle just because maybe you have a disagreement on a perspective. Everybody has traveled a different path and have a different perspective. So there's a way to, have a difference of opinion and still get along. And the third thing, I would say start reading earlier. I read a lot of books for fun back in the day. I mean, Eric Jerome Dickey, I read all his books. All right, what did I get out of those books? Entertainment, but no real value. So I would have started reading books to better me as a man, as a husband, as a dad, as a brother, as a human being at an earlier date. Substance. Yeah, man. Hey, that second gem, it hit different. Hey, I want to take a quick pause. My brother, you know who you are. We got to talk. We really do. I love you. We got too many years in, and we got to talk. But getting back on subject, well, I appreciate you, my man. We got to definitely tap back in. I know. I'm gonna give you this title. You take it if you want to. This is not just a guest, a friend, but definitely a mentor with the gems that you gave me.
Thank you.
From the last time, and I'm not gonna blow your phone. I'm not gonna blow your phone up, but I may tap back.
But that's what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm learning now in the Never Eat Alone book, right? You want to nurture those connections so that when something presents that either can help you or help me within our networks, then we'd be like, hey, let's reach out. I know this person. And that's what's supposed to happen. So feel free, man. Hit me up.
Hey, let's go.
Hit me up. Let's get it.
Let's go. Okay, y'all. Look, hey, I'm cheesing. Hey, man, you know what I always say. Success ain't random podcast. We knocked another one out. I thank y'all for tuning in with me. Thank y'all for rocking with me. And, man, you know what I always say. Be blessed. Don't stress. You already know the rest. And we out.
We reap what we sowing. To be peaceful, you gotta know violence. Keep it low, please don't cause a commotion. My response to the Levian ruins, and really not sure that's your type of promotion. We up early on road, rolling. Hog the lane and our ball, we ain't bowling. In 16, I hopped off in the Ford. Headed to Texas, not sure where I'm going. I'm the coldest on earth, bring the wind just to out them LaFaz. They see my devotion.